We've all been there. You download a new app, open it up, and immediately freeze. You're staring at a chaotic mess of menus, pop-ups, and icons, frantically swiping back and forth, trying to figure out where to even begin. Many software designers overlook the brain's biological programming, leading to interfaces that clash with how we are wired to process information. In his book, Design for How People Think, cognitive scientist John Whalen argues that exceptional user experience targets the unconscious mind to create a sense of intuitive flow. This approach relies on a concept called automaticity. Long before you consciously decide to click a button, your brain runs hundreds of rapid, subconscious cognitive processes to make sense of what you're seeing. To understand why some websites feel effortless and others feel like a maze, we can track the exact neurological sequence that fires off during the very first 500 milliseconds you look at a new screen. The true user experience is the sum of these microscopic biological processes happening in your mind. The moment a web page loads, your brain activates the what pathway. This neural route, running toward the occipital cortex at the back of your head, identifies objects and shapes almost instantly. This rendering shows what your visual system perceives, a blurry map to decide focus. Notice how primary buttons on the right vanish into the blur. Panning left to the sharp interface shows the dissonance. Without strong contrast, the brain simply doesn't register the button. If a critical menu or feature fails to survive this automatic blurry scan, it effectively doesn't exist. You will literally never consciously look at it. Once your brain identifies the objects on screen, it immediately tries to determine its location within the digital space. This triggers the second phase of neurological processing, governed by the where pathway. Consider the desert ant. It forages across featureless sand, yet computes its spatial coordinates, called Euclidean space, to walk straight back to its nest. Humans possess a similar spatial mapping system, but we rely on distinct physical landmarks and three-dimensional perspective, like converging lines and relative size, to calculate distance. Digital design ignores these landmarks, causing the disorientation you'd feel in this symmetrical shopping mall. With identical columns, you have no reference point for location. Look at this breakdown of an app's interface. Digital environments often strip away our evolutionary breadcrumbs. Without physical depth or a clear central hub, users are forced to guess how these disjointed screens relate to one another in virtual space. Failing to provide spatial landmarks, like a consistent back button, violates our innate need for orientation. Without those cues, the digital environment becomes an obstacle that requires constant, tiring guesswork to navigate. To fix this, product teams are shifting their focus. Instead of asking how people use an interface, they are testing how the brain actually processes the information. This requires specialized hardware, like these Tobii eye-tracking glasses. They allow researchers to bypass conscious feedback, tracking exactly where the eyes dart automatically. By tracing these subconscious micro-movements, like the red target hovering over this television menu, researchers can pinpoint the exact moment a user's mental map fails to match the software's layout. Every successful digital design must instantly answer three critical wayfinding questions. Where am I? How do I get to point B? And what happens next? When software respects the brain's automatic pathways, the interface requires far less conscious effort. The navigation becomes second nature, allowing your mental focus to stay entirely on the task at hand. If you want to explore more of the hidden science behind the technology we use every day, make sure to subscribe.